Good morning and welcome to our joyful Hatha Yoga class. Just a quick little hour to begin to wake our bodies up for our day and maybe come into some yoga postures that will have you feeling a little more supple, a little more centered and grounded as you go through your day. So let's start in a seated position. And again, as always, sitting on the edge of a folded blanket if you have one. I'm going to just check in for a moment with our hips and our pelvis, especially some of us, some of you may have woken up earlier, but some people may be just getting up, and our bodies sometimes can be a little stiff first thing in the morning. So we're going to move through some joint opening exercises to help with that. But first off, in the beginning, when we come into our seated position, especially if you're sitting cross-legged, you may feel a little stiffness in your hips in the morning, especially. And there's a deep core muscle inside of the body. Some of you may have heard of this. It's the iliopsoas. And if your knees are up high, like up here, that deep core muscle is actually engaged and doesn't relax. So if your hips are tight and your knees are coming up high, I usually check the top of my pelvis, the iliac crest, and I try to see if my knees are below that point, I'm good. If you feel like your knees are up above that point, then it's a great idea to get another fold of blanket or a pillow, or if you have a bolster, and sit up a little bit higher. So you're just raising the floor, and in doing so, that allows those knees to come down a little bit more, and that will help that deep core muscle just come into a little place of more relaxed state and not feel like it's holding and needing to keep those knees up higher. So coming into a cross-legged position, or if cross-legged really isn't the right position for you, then feel free to sit with your legs out straight. So feeling that base of the body, and just pressing the legs down even a little bit. Feeling when you do that, there's this natural rebound where it's like this having this awareness of pushing down into the earth, and then it's like the earth even supporting you back, letting that spine kind of naturally want to lift and lengthen. And as we do that, all the way up the spine, so imagining that lift and length happening all the way up, especially through that upper back. That's an area that tends to still round a little bit out of habit. And the head, if we've been sitting on the computer a lot or driving a lot also, our heads will come forward. So naturally, just having awareness of pulling that base of that skull back, and that allows for the more natural curve in the spine. So I like to sometimes just circle my shoulders a couple of times too, up and back and down, especially first thing in the morning. And just sometimes I'll feel a little tight and stiff. And then reverse directions, back and up and forward. Good, and then up and back and down, letting the shoulders rest away from the ears. Elbows rest under the shoulders. Palms can rest on your thighs. Palms can be up or down. I like to also take my hands into a mudra called chin mudra. Is up, well, let me explain first. The thumb and the index finger come together just lightly. We're not pushing them together tightly, just letting them lightly rest together. Chin mudra is palm up. Yana mudra is palm down. One will feel more comfortable to you. So go with the one that feels the most comfortable. I often do the palm down. So again, keeping the spine nice and long, closing the eyes. We're just going to take a moment to drop in and breathe. Breathing in through the nose, down into the belly, down into the abdomen. And on your exhale, letting the belly button fall back toward the spine. Inhaling and filling the belly with that breath. Exhaling, the abdomen relaxes. Building this breath into our three-part yogic breath where we inhale into the belly. with awareness then to the rib cage and the collarbones, and then exhaling from the belly and the ribs and the collarbones. Wave of breath flowing in and out. Good. And then, as always, drawing a little more focus inward to focus on one of two internal focal points or internal dristis. So continuing with the eyes closed, staying with this beautiful wave of breath, and then drawing your awareness to your heart center, right in the center of your sternum into the center of your chest, or to the third eye center, which is between the eyebrows. One of those 2 points will feel the most comfortable to you. So trying one out and then staying there if that feels really good, or testing the other out as you continue to breathe into the belly, the ribs, the collarbones. Exhaling from the belly and the ribs and the collarbones. And it's always nice, especially when you're doing yoga first thing in the morning, to maybe set an intention for your day. I liked to name this the joyful Hatha yoga class because it was the beginning of the day, and there's such joy sometimes in this, new clean slate. A new day can be whatever you want to make of it. So how could you bring more joy into your day? Continuing to breathe. One way to bring more joy into our day is that when we start to have a negative thought come in, we just let it go. Just let it go. Or when that negative thought comes in, maybe try to rephrase that into a positive thought. Good. Let's go ahead and take our hands to our heart center. We're going to just start our class with a gentle Om. It can be soft. You can say this out loud with me, or you can say it inside to yourself. If you're uncomfortable with the word Om, you can use the word home. Very much the same resonance. First, we'll take in a nice long, deep inhale. And a nice long exhale through the mouth. Good, inhaling for Om. Taking a moment to bow, bowing to the joy that abides within you. Bowing to the great gifts of this incredible practice. And then releasing those hands. Let's take a moment and sweep the arms right up overhead, circling the hands right down behind you, coming to rest on your fingertips. Keep the spine nice and long. Take another nice deep breath in. And out. We're going to do 2 more like that, just feeling the whole front of the body expanding. Inhaling, great. Exhaling. And 1 more. And coming back up, we're going to use that 3-part Dirga breath through our whole practice today. I'm going to have us come right on up to standing. We're going to do a little warm-up practice this morning called Dasa Chalana, or the 10 churnings. I really love this practice. It's great for opening up the joints. I'm a massage therapist, as some of you know, and I like to give this as homework to a lot of my clients. So I'm going to start with our feet hip width or even a little bit wider. And first, we're just going to step back with our right foot, and you're just going to rest lightly on top of the big toe. And we're just going to circle around on that big toe, just circling the ankle joint around and continuing to breathe. If you need to do this near a wall where you feel a little more steady, sometimes you can even hold a chair, the back of a chair. But otherwise, just circling that foot around, just pivoting over that big toe. You might get some cracks and creaks as we begin to open up these joints and loosen them up for the day. Reverse direction, whichever way you were circling, just circling around the other way. Again, this is light. There's not a lot of weight on that big toe. We're just using it as that pivot point. Good, we're gonna bring that foot back to the front. Already you can feel a difference in that foot and leg. So stepping back with the left foot onto the big toe there, just pivoting around, circling. Doesn't matter which direction you start with, just picking one and going with that. And remembering to breathe. Reversing direction, whichever way you had started to flow with that circle, and coming the opposite way. Good, we're gonna step that foot back. Next, we're gonna actually bring our feet together. Bend your knees. We're just gonna circle the knees around. So our hands are up above the knees, supporting us a little bit. Breathing and roll around on my feet as I make these circles. And anywhere between 6 to 10. Breathing into those knees, beginning to wake them up. And reversing direction. So warming up these joints. Good. And coming back to center. We're going to step our feet a little bit wider than our hips. Let there be a little soft bend in your knees. And you really want to keep that little bit of bend in the knees. We're just going to start circling the hips. Little circles to start. And then as those hips wake up, taking those hips and taking them into wider circles. And have fun with this. Be joyful with this. Really exploring the hips, the pelvis. Loosening up. Breathing into those hips. Sometimes you'll find some areas that, oh, I didn't realize that hip was tight there. Good. Just breathe into it and reverse directions. Circling those hips around. Little bend in your knees. Something that I learned from a good friend of mine who teaches hula hoop dance. And she showed me one time we collaborated in class. And if you keep that little bit of bend in the knees, you'll be able to have more movement in the hips. We keep our legs stiff and straight. We don't have as much movement in those hips. Good, coming back to front. This is one of my favorites coming up next. You're going to pretend that your arms are empty coat sleeves, and we're just going to begin swinging them. A lot of us used to do this as children. Just letting the arms be as heavy as possible, watching out, making sure you have space around you. If you're practicing with a friend today, you might want to stagger so you have plenty of room. Little soft bend in the knees. Good. And then another thing to add into this, just kind of fun, is a little tapping. As the arm in front comes in front, it may tap the opposite shoulder. And the arm and back may hit the back, kind of in the kidney area. Just waking up the body a little bit more. And this is gentle and fun and lighthearted. We're not beating up on ourselves. Good. A little bit more. Good, and then slowing it down. And then I usually just step my feet a little closer to hip width apart. Just taking a moment, already noticing how these movements are shifting the body. You can feel a little maybe tingling. You might feel warmth or coolness. Everybody's body is a little different, but already opening up the body here. Circle the shoulders up and back and down. And in the shoulders, I like to bring a little awareness to them too, because as we circle the shoulders around, when we have tightness in the shoulders, sometimes we want to kind of just skip through that tightness. So we kind of come up and we do this jerky thing. Just see if you can move slowly through the areas that are tight. Use your breath and breathe. You're not trying to do these circles in a really fast manner. And then we're going to reverse direction, back and up and forward. Breathing. Good. And then up and back and down. Shoulders relax. The next one, we're going to take our forearms together in front of us. They're actually going to touch. Interlace your fingers. Keep your index finger pointing up. Reaching down through your feet, relax the shoulders. You can lift the arms up to the point where the wrists are about at eye level. And you're just going to make figure eights in the air. Just nice and slow and gentle. I love, love, love this for the wrist. It feels so good. So going without speed feels good for you. Letting those forearms just kind of rock, not rock, but kind of like glide over each other back and forth as you do these circles. Remember to breathe. I notice sometimes in my own body that sometimes I start to feel a little tension trying to build in the neck and shoulders when I do this one. So if you notice that, just soften the neck and shoulders. Bringing awareness there is all you need. Notice the direction of the figure eights and begin to reverse those. Good, and then just release that, shake it out. Good. Next, we're going to do a little bit for the neck. So keep the spine long. And what I want to remind you of is when we do this motion with the neck, we never ever want to scrunch up the back of the neck. So anytime you kind of tip the neck back, you want to keep length in the neck. But we're not going to be doing much of that with this. We're going to keep our head right neutral. And you're going to pretend you're actually drawing a circle with your nose. So we're just going to start little, just moving the neck around. And then drawing a little bit bigger circles as that feels okay. But again, watching that we don't tip the head back without lengthening through the back of the neck. Good. And reversing direction. When we reverse direction, start small, small circles again. Moving into larger circles as you begin to wake up the neck. And coming to rest in the center. Last one is one of my all-time favorites of Dasa Chalana. It's called Sarpa, which means the serpent. I like to keep my feet, again, hip width distance apart, reaching firmly down into my feet. And you're going to come forward, and you're actually going to take a deep breath in as you're forward. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend the knees, curl the tailbone under, and you're just going to roll up your spine all the way up, exhaling. Inhale, we come forward.
being exaggerated with this as you exhale, curl that tailbone and then waking up the spine, rolling up the spine. You can take the arms up and then down, inhaling, exhaling, rolling again up the spine. Few more, inhaling, exhaling. Couple more. One more. Good. That's one of my all-time favorites. So now we should feel a little bit more loose. With that said, we're still going to go slow through our first round of sun salutations. We're going to do a little sun salutation. Of course, we have to do that. It is the morning. The sun is up. It's a beautiful day this morning, actually. You can even see a little sunbeam across my mat. So feet can be hip distance or together, whichever you're used to practicing. Go ahead and reach down through the 3 points of your feet, mound to the big toe, mound to the little toe in the center of the heel. Thigh muscles are engaged. We're drawing those in nicely. And the belly button kind of in and up, but keeping enough room to still breathe in the abdomen there. Shoulders are up and back and down. The crown of the head is reaching up. Take a deep breath in and Samastahiti. And exhaling. One more breath. Inhaling from the soles of those feet to the crown of the head. And exhaling, crown of the head back to the earth, to the soles of the feet. Inhale, sweeping those arms up to the heavens. And exhaling, hands to heart. Namaskarasana. Inhale, reach up, palms face forward, lift up and out of the waist. You can take a little gentle back bend here. And exhale, forward fold, lengthening forward and down as much as you can. Let's take a moment to inhale and lengthen here, just for a second. Take a deep breath in, chin is neutral. Shoulder blades are drawing on the back toward the spine and down toward the hips. And keep that length as much as you can, coming forward, forward fold. Inhale, step that right foot back, bring the right knee down. Breathe into the front of that right hip. Retain that inhale as you place your hands down and step back for plank. Strong plank here. And exhale, knees, chest and chin to the floor. Inhale, pushing up into cobra. And exhaling back to downward dog. Inhaling, we can step that right foot forward. Bring the left knee down. And exhale, left foot to bring the right, forward fold. Inhale, pushing firmly into those feet as you inhale, sweep the arms up. And again, a gentle back bend. Exhaling into your forward fold. Inhale, step that left foot back, bring the left knee down. Retain that inhale as you lift the hips and step back to your plank. And exhaling, knees, chest and chin, elbows are in. Inhaling, keeping those elbows in as we push up to cobra. And exhale back to downward dog. Inhaling that left foot forward, the right knee comes down. And exhale, right foot to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping those arms up. And exhale, hands by our side. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up, palms forward, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right foot back, right knee down. Retain the breath, stepping back for plank. And exhale, knees, chest and chin. Inhaling into cobra. And exhaling back to downward dog. Inhale that right foot forward, left knee down. And exhale, left foot to meet the right, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gentle back bend. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, left foot back, left knee down. Retain the breath, stepping back for plank. Exhaling, knees, chest and chin. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, back, downward dog. Inhaling, left foot forward, right knee down. And exhale, right foot to meet the left, forward. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. And exhale, hands by our side. Take in a breath. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more round. Inhale, arms up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, arms up. Lifting up and out of the waist. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right foot back. Right knee down. Retain the breath, stepping back for plank. And exhale, knees, chest and chin. Inhale into cobra. Exhaling back to downward dog. Inhaling that right foot forward, left knee down. And exhaling left foot to meet the right, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping arms up, gentle back bend. Exhaling into forward fold. Inhale, left foot back, left knee down. Retain the breath, stepping back for plank. Exhaling, knees, chest and chin. Inhale into cobra. And exhale back to downward dog. Inhale, left foot forward. Right knee down. And exhaling, right foot to meet the left, forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping those arms up. And exhale, hands by your side. And again, deep breath in and out. Inhaling, soles of the feet to the crown of the head. Exhaling, crown of the head to the soles of the feet. Hands to heart. Inhale, we're going to step back with our exhale with the right foot. Pivot to bring it parallel with the back edge of the mat. Heel toe that left foot over to bisect the right arch. Keep the legs strong and engaged. We're going to move right into Utthita Trikonasana. Arms up. Utthita is extended. So you can bring your ankles underneath your wrist. That's your built-in measurement. Good. Arms up. You're going to slide that left arm toward the front of the mat. And keep extending. We're hinging at that hip. Extending, extending, extending. When you find that edge where you want to stop, oops, slipped. Left hand down, right hand up. Keep pushing into both legs, into the feet, but hug the thigh muscles in. Try not to hyperextend the knee at all. We're extending from fingertip to fingertip. Your gaze can be at the floor, the horizon, or up at the upper right hand. Breathe in. Push into those legs, lifting back up. Slide that right hand down the back, lifting up and out of the waist and reverse here. Trikonasana, left hand can be palm facing behind you. Deep breath in, we're stretching and opening through that back, the left side of the body. One more breath. Good, bring the arms up. Let's sink into Virabhadrasana 2. You may need to heel toe that back foot back a little bit more. Sink into this opening in the hips. Open the hips a little more to the side. Shoulders over hips. Shoulders are relaxed. Arms are extending. Turning the head to look forward over the third left finger. Keep sinking into your legs. Good. Keep opening through the chest. Breathing. And go ahead and straighten that left leg, hands on hips. Pivot the left foot to be parallel with the right. Prasarita Padottanasana. So we want our big toes in the same line. So we're adjusting there if we need to. Push down through the 3 points of your feet. We're just going to do hands on hips here. Lengthen up through the spine. Take that length forward as you come down through the center.
Releasing the hands to the floor, release the head and neck, let the head hang. Nod your head up and down, yes. Side to side, no. Keep breathing. You can walk your hands between your legs if you want, but keep some weight in the balls of the feet. That keeps our hips stacking over heels still, or more in line with heels, like not exactly stacking. Good. If you want, you can take your second and third finger, wrap them under the big toe, push thumb into the top of that big toe, and just come into a little more forward fold. Deep breath in and out. We're going to reverse and come out the same way we came in. Push firmly into the 3 points of your feet. Hands on hips, lengthen through the spine. Push into those feet in reverse direction all the way up. First thing in the morning, this can be, you can get a little lightheaded, so just be mindful of that. Be careful and come up slowly. We're going to keep the left foot parallel with the front edge of the mat. You're going to turn your right toes to face the back edge. Setting up for Utthita Trikonasana in this direction. Your right heel should be bisecting the left arch. Thighs are firmly engaged. Arms come up. We're hinging at that right hip this time, sliding your torso toward what would be the back of your mat. Find your edge where you can't slide anymore, where you maybe have to start rounding that side body. Keep that right side body long. Left arm comes down and right arm comes up. So breathing here, stretching from hands to hands, opening the hips a little more, breathing, gazing at the floor, the horizon, for the upper right hand. Good. Push into those legs, lifting up. Bend that right knee for Virabhadrasana 2. Maybe heel toeing that left foot back a little deeper so you can come more into your lunge. Shoulders are over hips. Try not to overarch in the low back. So try to bring the tailbone reaching down a little bit more. Grounding down through the legs that way. Left knee stays pointing forward toward that second and third toe. Arms are up, reaching from fingertip to fingertip. And turning your gaze to look forward over the third right finger. And breathe, softening here, noticing in this pose where you might be gripping or tightening the toes or your jaw or your neck. Pausing and softening any of those areas, you can soften just a little bit more. Good, straightening that right leg. We're going to pivot those toes to again be parallel. And lengthening up through the spine. This time I want to take our hands behind us and clasp our hands in Yoga Mudra. So reaching those arms down, deep breath in through the front of the body. If this is too much for your shoulders this early in the morning, or first, not first thing in the morning, but at the beginning of your day, you can take a strap and hold that in your hands. That could be a belt or a tie or a scarf. But otherwise, clasping those hands together. Inhale, lengthen, push into those feet. And exhale, take that leg forward. Let the arms just rest behind you right now. Releasing the head toward the floor. Pressing firmly into our feet. Let the arms float up behind you, but we don't force this opening. We allow the opening to come as it's ready. So even if your arms lift just a tiny bit, that's totally fine. Listen to the shoulders. We don't want to overstretch them. When we force things to overstretch, that's how injuries happen.
Good. One more breath. Release the hands down. Push firmly into your feet. Lifting all the way up slowly, slowly, slowly. Remember? Good. Release the hands. One more pose while we're right here. Let's turn the toes out a little bit. Sink into your legs, sinking into goddess pose. So take the arms out, bend the elbows, spread the fingers wide, sinking down. Tailbone is reaching down. Breathing through the body here. See if you can sink a little more. Great job, you can do it. Breathe. Good, and then popping back up slowly. Releasing the arms. Let's do a little heel toe, coming up to center, and shake your legs out. All right, we're ready to do a little balance posture today. There's so many to choose from, and I love all of the balance postures. Let's see. It's springtime, so I feel like we always lean towards doing tree pose. So let's go into doing tree pose. I'm going to add some variations in for you today too. So as always, while we're doing our balance postures, if you want to go to a wall, just to give you a little bit of security, feel free. Otherwise, the key to balance postures is really focusing the mind. And I've mentioned this before, but a lot of times when we start out in a balanced posture, you'll feel your foot being wobbly, and some of that is your body trying to find its stable point. But if we can quiet the mind by using our breath and our focal point, our external focal point, that should start to settle down and you become really steady. So it really is about quieting the mind here when we're trying to do our balance practice. So we're going to start on our right foot. Second toe, third toe, somewhere around that, in line with the center of your ankle as always. Hugging the thigh muscles in. You're going to open that left hip to the side, toes on the floor. Do what feels right for your body today. Sole of the foot on the calf or all the way up. I never want to see your foot, even though I can't see you, on your knee. It's a very kind of sensitive joint to pressure of any kind. When we're in tree pose, Virksasana here, we want to press the leg into the foot and the foot into the leg. That should help, that little squeezing, giving you a little bit more stability, and sometimes that's the secret to keeping that foot from slipping. Pushing firmly down through my standing leg, and I'm lengthening up through my spine. I like to always start with my hands and my heart. So find that steady breath. Gazing at the floor a few feet ahead or at the horizon at a spot on the wall. Feeling really steady. And you can stay here. This is a beautiful practice of tree pose. Or you can take those arms up. There's a couple of things you can do. You can just spread your fingers, reaching out through those leaves, your fingers. Shoulders are relaxed. Or you can take your hands together and point the index fingers up as the other fingers are interlaced. I know you can't see that, but it looks like this. Good. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, whichever position you choose. Good, and then slowly reversing your way out. That was great. So a couple of different options there. I like to hug that left knee in for a minute. Just give it a little squeeze if you can, and straighten that leg out and bring that down. Good. Now we'll switch legs. Left leg is now the standing leg, hugging the thigh muscles in, pushing down through the 3 points of the foot, that mound of the big toe, the mound of the little toe, and the center of the heel. Nice and firm there. Opening the right hip to the side, toes on the floor, sole of the foot and the calf, or all the way up. And again, squeeze into that center line, push the foot against the leg and the leg against the foot. Hands at heart. Finding the focal point in your steady breath.
And then when you feel steady, taking the hands up or keeping them at your heart, relax the shoulders away from the ears. And releasing slowly out, hands to heart. If you lifted them, take that right knee in front of you, give it a nice squeeze in. Good. Straighten that leg out and release that leg to the floor. You can shake your legs out if you want. We're going to just take a moment to make our way to the floor. So the top of the mat, feet can be hip width apart or together. Belly button draws gently in and up, pushing down through the 3 points of our feet. Our legs are active and strong, lengthening up through that entire spine, crown of the head reaching up. Shoulders are relaxed. Inhale, reach those arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up, palms forward, take that gentle back bend. And exhale into your forward fold. And then we're going to inhale to our flat back again. And exhaling, hands to the floor, bend the knees, walk the feet right back into downward dog. So feet are hip width, hands are shoulder width. Lift those hips, pushing through the hands. Knees can be slightly bent if you have tight hamstrings. The back of your legs feel tight. And then go ahead and release knees down wider than hips. Finger big toes together. Slip your hips back toward your heels. Forehead to the floor. Arms can be resting overhead, but make sure the forearms stay on the floor. Or take the arms alongside your legs. And just soften here. Taking 3 deep breaths in and out. Keep your arms overhead if you have them there, or return them to overhead. We're just going to walk our hands over to the right side of our mat, stretching that left hip back, breathing through that left side of the body. Walk the hands back through the center and walking them over to the left. Stretch the right hip back, breathe for that right side of the body. Good, coming back through the center. Walk the hands under the shoulders and press right on up to table position. So from table, pushing firmly into your hands, we're going to lift the hips right on up. Good. Press those hips up and back. Nice downward dog. Press into the index finger and the mount of the index finger a little bit more. Roll the inner elbows and the inner arms in and up, creating more space for the head and the neck. Knees can be slightly bent if you need to again. Reaching the heels back and down. Drawing the front of the foot, the top of the foot towards the front of the shin and vice versa. Good, one more breath here. Take your right leg up to the ceiling and draw that into the center. We're going to take that over toward the right wrist, setting up for pigeon pose on this side. You can take that left leg, extend it out. Drop the knee down for a minute though. And we're just going to take a moment here to kind of square the pelvis more to the top of the mat. So lift the back left knee, shift that hip forward a little bit, and then drop that knee down.
Coming onto the top of that left foot. Now that left foot should be tracking straight behind you. The left leg is directly off of your hip, not out or in a little bit. Your right lower leg is going to be drawing towards the top of the mat, but it doesn't need to come up very high. Don't get caught up in that. What I want you to do is flex that right foot towards the shin, and that heel will be off the floor, but that's okay. So again, lengthen through the spine here. Ekapada Raja, Kapatanasana, or one-legged royal pigeon. Begin to extend that torso forward toward the floor and coming down onto your forearms. You can rest with your forehead on your forearms or directly on the mat, but letting go here and softening and breathing in to the back of that right hip. So staying in pigeon pose. Some of you may know supine pigeon, and if this is not the best for your knees, then feel free to come into supine pigeon. Otherwise, we're going to stay here and breathe for just a few moments. Breathing into the hips. Beginning to lift the head and the torso, walk the hands back toward the body. Taking the hands shoulder width apart, curl those back toes under, lift those hips, step right on back to downward dog. Pedal through your heels, opening up that leg, just noticing how that feels now in comparison to the left. Take the left leg up to the sky. Draw that knee into the center, then over towards that left wrist, laying that left lower leg onto the floor. And taking that moment to curl the right toes under, lift that right knee, shift that right hip forward a little. So we're squaring those hips a little more to the top of the mat. And then take that knee and the top of the foot back to the floor. Now those should be directly behind your right leg, straight off. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, take that length as you extend that spine down toward the floor. Resting again on your forehead, either on your forearms or directly on the mat. Breathing into your hips. The hips hold a lot of tension. They hold a lot of emotion. So being very gentle with yourself as these hips open, sometimes we'll have some emotions arise from that deeper opening. Be kind with yourself and breathe. Allow whatever comes up to arise to just pass by. Stay with a steady breath. And again, beginning to lift the torso, walk the hands back towards you. Hands are about shoulder width apart. You can curl the right toes under, shift the hips forward just a little bit to create space to move that leg out. Coming right on up into a downward dog again. Feet are hip width apart. Pedaling through the heels again. Press nice and long, extending through that spine. And go ahead and exhale, knees back down the table. Let's come into revolved child's pose. Some of you know this is thread the needle. Take the right hand with palm up under the left, coming onto that right shoulder and the right side of the head. You can take the left hand and just push it into the floor as you inhale and lengthen through the spine. Or take that left arm up, bend the elbow and take that behind your back. Inhale, we lengthen through the spine. Exhale, keep the length as you twist a little bit deeper here.
Breathing space throughout that spine. Getting a little more opening through the mid and upper back. One more breath. And exhale, rotate to face the floor. Push into that left hand, lift the torso up. With hands shoulder width apart, before we change side, just do a little cat-cow here. Inhale, lift the head and the tailbone. Exhale, push into the hands, run the back to the ceiling. Inhale, one more. And exhale. Back to table. This time, left hand palm up under the right arm. Left shoulder, left side of the head. Pushing into the right hand if you want, or taking that hand up, bend the elbow, let it rest behind you. You can also reach for your opposite thigh. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, keep the length. Going deeper into your twist. Good. And exhale, untwisting. Pressing right back up to table. Hands shoulder width. Inhale, lift the head and tailbone. Exhale, arch the back. Inhale, lifting up again. And exhale, arch the back. Good. Back to neutral. We'll make our way onto our backs. And I like to always have a little blanket under me on my mat, but you don't have to do that. Whatever you need. So I'm just going to do a little bit of fish pose here. So setting up for fish pose, your legs are out straight underneath of you. There's a couple of ways to come in. I'm going to teach a little bit different method today. So starting here where we're resting on our forearms, and kind of walking the hands underneath of you a little bit more. Palms are down, trying to walk those forearms toward each other a little more. And we're opening up through the upper chest. Engage your legs, draw your toes toward the ceiling. As if you're pushing your feet into an imaginary wall back there. Just staying here, lifting up through the heart, and then just beginning to take your head back and down toward the floor, toward the crown of the head touches the mat. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, opening up through that chest a little bit more. Good, and then walking the elbows out to the side and releasing the torso back down, taking the hands up from underneath of you. Cup your hands with your fingers interlaced underneath the base of your skull. Lift your head and turn your head a little side to side. And then setting that head back down on the floor. Good, and then we're just going to bend the knees. Take your feet together. Keep your spine long. Hug your knees in, just give them a little squeeze. Good. And then from here, let your feet come to the floor. Arms out in T position. So off your shoulder at shoulder height. And just let the knees fall to the right. You can turn your head to the left. And just breathe here through this little gentle twist. Good. Inhaling the knees up through the center. And then exhaling them over to the left. Turning your head to the right if you'd like. Breathing here in your twist. Good, and then inhaling the legs up through the center. Just take one more moment to squeeze them in. Roll around on your sacrum if you want. Just massaging that sacrum, low back. And reverse direction if you're doing the circling. Good. And then setting up for Shavasana. If you have a pillow or a bolster at your side, somewhere close by, go ahead and take that, put that underneath your thighs, not underneath the knees, but under the thighs. Feet out to the edges of your mat, rock your legs in and out. Good. If you have an eye pillow, put your eye pillow on, and then draw the shoulder blades underneath of you, letting the arms just flop open to wherever they flop. Rock your head slightly side to side. Pausing in the center, relaxing the neck and the shoulders and the jaw. Deep breath in. Open the mouth and exhale, release any sound. And one more inhale. And exhale. Letting go of any awareness of your breath now. Letting the body be breathed by its natural breath. Continuing to soften on your exhales. Staying in your Shavasana. I'm going to just offer you a little poem here by Mary Oliver. It's entitled, Why I Wake Early. Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who made the morning and spread it over the fields and into the faces of the tulips and the nodding morning glories and into the windows of even the miserable and the crotchety, best preacher that ever was. Dear star that just happens to be where you are in the universe to keep us from ever darkness, to ease us with warm touching, to hold us in the great hands of light. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Watch now how I start the day in happiness, in kindness. So just staying in Shavasana for just a few more moments, softening your body in kindness. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana for however long you want. Those of you who are ready can begin to roll to your right side and pause. Feeling that breath rolling in and out. Feeling some space within the center of your being, and maybe even a little joy. Remembering the intention you set at the beginning of your practice, just reconnecting with that one more moment. How can you bring a little more joy into your day? And then pressing into your hands and coming back to your seated position. Feeling that base of the body reaching downward. And that gentle, natural lift, lengthening through the spine. Deep breath in and out. Inhale for a soft Om. May you happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, and may you live with grace and ease and a little more joy. Namaste.